So, septic shock was a short note in pathology exam of 2013. It was also asked as a sub question once for the clinical essay. Today we will be discussing about the topic septic shock. If you haven't seen the previous video about shock, please do watch it as this will be a continuation. We will talk about what is shock, its causes, the main agents behind it, its pathogenesis, the morphological changes, clinical features, and prognosis. So, first of all, what is septic shock? Septic shock is a type of shock with severe sepsis, that is, a body wide infection, and also characterized by hypotension. So, there will be sepsis as well as hypotension. Now, what complicates it is that it cannot be corrected by infusing fluids. Now, how does a sepsis result in shock? In simple way, we can say that it is due to the immune reaction against the infection. Now, this results in systemic vasodilation and it causes a decrease in the vascular resistance as well as peripheral pooling of blood. That is, decrease in vascular resistance and peripheral pooling of blood. Now, that causes tissue hypoperfusion, that is, the tissues are not adequately supplied by blood. And this forms the hallmark of septic shock. Coming to the agents, gram positive bacteria is the most common cause of septic shock, that is, gram positive bacteria. Example Staph aureus, Enterococci, Streptococcus pneumoniae, etc. It can also be caused by gram-negative bacteria, particularly the antibiotic-resistant fungi, protozoa, rickettsia, and so on. Coming to the most important topic that is repeatedly being asked, that is the pathogenesis. So, when the microbial products enter our system, it can result in four major things. They are endothelial cell activation or injury, activation of leukocytes like neutrophil and macrophages, activation of factor 12 in coagulation cascade, and also activation of complement components. Once again, there will be activation of endothelial cell, neutrophils, macrophages, factor 12, and also complement components. Now let us first concentrate on the endothelial cell injury and activation. It can result in vasodilation and increase in permeability. So how is this happening? By releasing many mediators including vasoactive inflammatory mediators and nitric oxide. This resultant vasodilation and increased permeability result in decrease in the perfusion, that is no adequate blood supply, and that result in multi-organ failure. Now in septic shock there will be activation of the coagulation cascade. This is with the help of activating factor 12 and also due to increase in the tissue factors as well as decrease in the anticoagulants which is caused by endothelial injury. The resultant coagulation causes widespread microvascular thrombosis, leading into a condition called disseminated intravascular coagulation, and that causes tissue ischemia that again result in multi-organ failure. Now moving on to activation of neutrophils and macrophages, this occur mainly when the PAMPs, that is pathogen assisted molecular patterns, link to the toll-like receptors of them. It results in formation of wide range of cytokines like tumor necrosis factor, interleukin 1, as well as cytokine like mediators like HMG-B1. These mediators can have a wide range of effects. Firstly, these mediators itself can cause endothelial injury, and secondly, it can cause decrease in the myocardial contractility, also result in metabolic abnormalities and also immune suppression. Once again, endothelial injury, decreased myocardial contractility, metabolic abnormalities, and immune suppression. The decreased heart contraction obviously causes decreased cardiac output. And as we said in the last video, it causes hyperperfusion, resulting in multi-organ failure. Now, some of the metabolic abnormalities include insulin resistance, hyperglycemia, and decreased glucocorticoids. Now, how does the immune suppression occur? It can be due to the resultant secondary anti-inflammatory mediators. It can also be due to the increased apoptosis of the lymphocytes. Now, coming to the complement system activation, it can cause endothelial injury as well as production of many cytokines. There are anaphylatoxins like C3A, C5A, chemotactics like C5A, and opsonins like C3B. Now, this roughly forms the pathogenesis. Coming to the morphology, apart from the morphological features that are seen in every type of shock, in septic shock, the TIC create extra features. That is, it causes microthrombi formation as well as using up of the coagulation factors. Now, the microthrombi can cause thrombosis in brain, heart, kidney, lungs, adrenals, and so on. Whereas when the coagulation factors get used up, it results in bleeding manifestation, including petechial hemorrhages on serosal surfaces and skin. Now, the characteristic clinical feature of septic shock is that the skin shall be initially warm and flush. This is due to vasodilation. It won't be initially cold and clammy. The prognosis is poor, there is high mortality rate, and infusing fluid won't work properly. Now that concludes the septic shock. Make sure to give emphasis on the pathogenesis. Thank you.